Hey, what is going on, Guardians? TBL here, and we are back to talk about the big one. We finally, in this Week at Bungie, learned about some of the sandbox changes that are going to be coming to the game in a couple of weeks when the update 1.1.4 hits on March 27th. Bungie has been notoriously mum on the subject for quite some time, but we finally got to hear about how exactly the game's going to be changing, the changes to weapons, in some cases cooldowns and respawns. A lot of different things are getting changed. And in this video, we're not going to go over absolutely everything because there's an absolute butt ton of things that are going to be seeing a big change when the update comes out. We're going to be going over some of the biggest stuff. We're going to give you a little bit of a too long didn't read or too long didn't watch version, so we don't take up too much of your time. But to just give you an initial impression, they're changing a lot of stuff, like an absolute ton of things are going to be seeing some very big, significant changes when the March 27th update comes out. But are those changes the ones you want to see? Let's go ahead and take a look. First up, for the sandbox, Iron Banner, Rumble, and Mayhem are of course returning. The Nova Bomb glitch has been fixed, Rumble's going to be 8-person, and of course Mayhem is going to be a recurring weekly game mode in its own weekly playlist. That's all well and good, but we're looking for something a little bit more tangible to the PvP environment, that old time to kill. And on that subject, senior Crucible designer Kevin Yanes and design lead Josh Hamrick took to the forefront to talk a bit about how they're going to be changing up time to kill in the Crucible. Here's specifically what they had to say about that. When we looked at the core feedback on time to kill in the Crucible, we saw that it mostly stemmed from a lack of excitement or spikes of intensity that you all came to expect from a Destiny experience. This came in the form of feedback that stated the game was too slow or the core loop was too stale. We agree, and we've worked with Sandbox to increase the pace of the Crucible as a whole. And then they went kind of into talking about how they're going to be speeding up the Crucible. We know that they're going to be increasing movement speed across the board, basically. All three of the class-based glides, plus Catapult and Strafe Lift, have been retuned and buffed to make them faster and more unique. The mobility stat range has been expanded and completely retuned as well. In short, everyone's going to get faster and the high end is going to get higher, bringing back some of those movement options we seem to have lost in the world of Destiny 2. And that of course extends to ground speed, as the player's ground speed cap has also been increased, allowing for faster total overall movement speed. They've also given some buffs to the roaming supers like Arc Strider, Sentinel, and Striker. They all move faster, but they all generally move at the same speed now. And speaking specifically for Arc Strider, they've given it faster attack animations, faster dodge animations, increased range on all of its attacks, and just tried to make that super overall better in the Crucible. The neutral game on Arc Strider is great, but the super itself definitely left people wanting a little bit more, so they've tuned that up to make it faster and easier to chain kills in that super. And of course, the previous shoulder charge changes have been reverted, allowing shoulder charge to be used as a movement option once again. Hallelujah! There was no reason for them to nerf shoulder charge, so I'm very happy that they confirmed this a while back that they were changing it, but I'm still very happy that they've retuned things and brought shoulder charge back to what it was before. Dawnblade in particular has seen several improvements. They've reduced the cost for throwing your flaming swords, allowing you one additional throw. They've increased the super duration extension gained from the Everlasting Fire perk. They've removed all in-air accuracy penalties while Swift Strike was active. Didn't really make sense to me why there were penalties on that, as the Dawnblade builds are all about getting the aerial advantage, so it's great to see that change in there. And they've reduced the Icarus Dash cooldown so you can utilize it more often. They've also increased the grenade and melee energy that Heat Rises gives you per kill. And next up in a series of small nerfs for you Night Stalkers out there, I mean, come on, we knew it was coming. We knew the invisibility change had to happen. Way too many people were starting to rely upon that for all modes in Crucible. So they've changed some things with invisibility and some other hunter perks. Invisibility on dodge no longer breaks aim assist or projectile tracking in PvP. It's unchanged in PvE. Dodging still breaks both aim assist and projectile tracking, but only for the duration of the actual dodge. They've also increased the duration of invisibility on dodge by 1 second and increased the duration of smoke bomb invisibility by 1 second. So they're giving you a little bit more time to be invisible, but you're not going to be able to completely break tracking on, say, the colony anymore just by going invis. And of course, in a greater buff to all the classes, supers are now going to be recharging faster for everyone. They've seen a cooldown reduction of about 25%, so hopefully you can experience more than 1 to 2 supers a game now. And they've also extended this cooldown love to mods that reduce grenade, melee, and class ability cooldowns, as they've been buffed to allow for 2 times faster cooldowns. Although that's not going to be replacing the mods 2.0 changes that we're going to be seeing further on, so you might be able to buff that even further. In short, you're going to get your super, your grenade, your melee, and your ability much faster once 1.1.4 comes into effect. Very happy to hear about that, as not being able to use your abilities in Destiny 2 it's a huge far cry from Destiny 1, where you could get that stuff back, especially for like grenades and melees, in 25 seconds or less. Now, moving on, they've tuned a lot of other things like respawn timers. They've reduced respawn time to 2 seconds in quick play, 7 seconds in survival, 7 seconds in countdown. And they've tuned up power ammo changes in a bunch of different game modes. In Iron Banner, for example now, Iron Banner respawn timers for power ammo have been reduced by 50%, so you're going to be getting that way more often. And it's been reduced by 30% in all normal quick play modes and 40% in all normal survival modes. While Countdown has only seen a respawn timer reduction of about 25%, but across the board you're going to be getting power ammo more often in all of the PvP game modes. This is an effort to kind of help with the time to kill issues in the game right now by affording power ammo more often to people, which I think is cool. You know, it's a nice way mixed in with getting faster cooldowns and faster movement speed to kind of artificially drop the length of player encounters. But at the end of the day, what are we looking for? We're looking for stronger primary performance, and that's something that, in my opinion, before reading this, really needed to be addressed. And thankfully, they have actually addressed it, because primary weapons are going to be seeing changes in this update. They have, across the board, increased the damage output for almost all of the weapon types in the game. And this applies to both PvE and PvP. In the blog update itself, it only mentions PvE damage buffs for all the weapons, but they did later come out and clarify that they meant that you're getting a damage buff in both PvE and PvP. And generally what they're trying to do there is they're trying to lower the time to kill of, underperforming weapon archetypes so that they can match I do believe it is the precision frame tier of auto rifles, that 450 RPM tier of auto rifles. So stuff like the Origin Story and the Uriel's Gift and the Positive Outlook, they want to bring the other weapon archetypes up to that level, which, if I do recall correctly, is an optimal time to kill of about 1.07 seconds or something like that, which is good. That's a buff for all the other archetypes out there. But in my opinion, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it here. I think that's still a little bit too slow in terms of the base time to kill for the Crucible. It's still going to take quite a while to get some kills, especially in comparison to Destiny 1. But it is a base increase for basically all of the other classes to bring them in line with the performance of auto rifles and some of the hand cannons right now. Overall, it's a buff, and I guess I'll just have to reserve my full judgment until the patch itself comes out and I can get my hands on it. And I'm not going to go through all of those changes because, again, there are a lot, but I'll throw them up on the screen or something so you can see each of the individual changes to each of the individual weapon types in update 1.1.4. I do want to focus a bit on snipers, though. For snipers, of course, they've got increased PvE damage, increased precision multiplier damage, increased aim assist, and increased inventory size. They're really trying to incentivize you away from rocket launchers and over to snipers and fusions and that kind of stuff. For grenade launchers, they've increased the blast radius, and for assault rifles, they've decreased range and aim assist stats for precision autos. That's the Uriel's Gift archetype of auto rifles. The base damage hasn't been changed. You're just going to have less effective range and less aim assist at range, which means they're probably not going to be able to challenge scout rifles anymore. That's something that a lot of people are probably going to be very, very happy with. I'm super happy they didn't change the base damage on them. They just cut back their range so that auto rifles aren't great at all ranges now. Definitely a good move in my opinion. Then they've changed a bunch of perks and the way they work in PvE by adding, increased PvE damage or an increased magazine size or something like that. They've also nerfed explosive rounds just a little bit. They tuned down the explosive damage, but have bumped up the primary shot damage from explosive rounds. So it's not really too much of a DPS loss, or maybe not even a DPS loss at all. You're just going to deal more damage with the impact rather than more damage with the explosive now. And of course, now in PvP, when you take out Guardians, who have power ammo, they're going to drop that brick. But you're not just going to have to walk over the brick and pick it up. You actually have to go and hold X or square or whatever key it is for whatever platform you're playing on to pick it up as if you were picking it up from the power ammo box. We got to see a quick clip of this from Cosmo, and it didn't look too bad. I gotta say, I really like the opportunity of having power ammo drop from people that you take out. And it is going to be available for everyone, so if you take out somebody with power ammo, you might not necessarily get it, as everybody is going to be able to pick it up, but they have to spend a second, holding that button to pick it up. And who knows, maybe that mixed in with the way power ammo's been changed with different archetypes, you're going to have less rockets and less sword ammo now. Maybe that's going to help incentivize, alongside some of these other changes, using different power weapons outside of, just Sins of the Past and whatever the raid sword is called. Maybe you'll actually see people utilizing grenade launchers more often that aren't just the colony. But alright, there we go, Guardians. Those are some of the biggest changes that are coming in update 1.1.4. Now that's not even nearly close to everything they talked about in the update. So if you want to read more, you can always find a link to the TWAB update with all of the patch notes in the description box below. And now for me, overall, I'm very happy with some of these changes, and I do have to say, while I'm still a bit skeptical on the time to kill, the average time to kill is being brought down just a bit, but it's really just to match those auto rifles like I talked about before. Which, of course, Kevin Yanes has come out to clarify that that's basically what they're doing. They want to bring everything in line with the Uriel's Gift. I think that's a good step forward, but I'd like to see the time to kill dropped maybe just a little bit more so things can be a little bit more actually competitive in the Crucible. But for the most part, a lot of these changes are great. I love the changes to Dawnblade. I love the increased PvE damage. Maybe I'll finally be able to start taking down mobs with one shot with a hand cannon or a scout rifle or something like that, like back in the glory days of Destiny 1. But there's a lot of good stuff here, and I really can't wait to get my hands on this patch to really see if it's going to be worth coming back to, especially in terms of the Crucible. And I know a lot of you out there feel the same. If you don't, well, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comment section below about all of this. And that is going to be it for this one, Guardians. If you enjoyed, feel free to drop a like and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all of the latest Destiny 2 news. We also had some leaks and stuff drop, as well as a bit of a developer Q&A on Twitter that I'm making a video for that you all will be able to see right here on the channel in just a bit. Make sure you check it out. But that's it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.